Alright, so the hardest part about making a video is always how to start it. So let's just get started. This is the usual sort of recap, look forward thing that I usually do. So I'll talk about how the semester went, classes, teaching, and other stuff that happened within the program. Alright, so for classes, I took 4 of them. We're going to do one by one. So I took the second semester real analysis, measure theory, as I like to call it, big boy math class, because it was the biggest boy that I've ever taken, ever. Probably the hardest math class I've ever taken, actually. But yeah, it turned out really well. The midterm was kind of meh. Yeah, it was like an hour long, but all of us ended up staying longer than that, and the professor was like, "It's fine." It's kind of the running good joke of my class of just like he's gonna write an exam. It's gonna be longer than what it's supposed to be, but that's fine because he's gonna allow us to stay longer. And that ended up happening on the final too. Um, it was 2 hours. I ended up having to take it earlier because I had another one right after it. So I asked the professor if I could take it a bit earlier so I have more time in between the 2 exams. He allowed me to do it. I still ended up staying longer. Ended up turning out fine. I actually did better in the final than I did on the midterm, which is pretty surprising. I was actually expecting to do quite a bit worse considering how hard the final was. But I got the grade that I got. I passed the class. Second class is modern algebra, abstract algebra. I don't know what you want to call it, algebra. It was about modules, vector spaces, field extensions, Galois theory, all that, irreducibility, I don't know. I kind of just took the class because I wanted to know the basics. It's not really the basics, the foundations of the algebraic research done at this school. And it was cool. I was like, oh, okay, this is very interesting. Glad I got to learn it, glad I got to know of it, but I'm not gonna do it for research. It's not for me, it's not for Johan. And so I was just like, okay. The final was really tricky for that one. I ended up not doing so well. Alright, third class was my nonlinear optimizations class, the elective class that I talk about. I ended up not learning as much new stuff that I expected. A lot of it was a repeat of what I had learned in undergrad for my optimizations class. But that's fine. The main draw for it for me was the report at the end. I got to practice how to write a report again. And then the MATLAB stuff. Like I finally got a class that like forced me to sit down and be like, you gotta learn MATLAB. And I did. I learned MATLAB stuff. I learned how to image process in MATLAB. I don't know if I'll remember, but I'll like try to put like a picture of like what I did. I did like a image compression thing, depending on how many colors you want, and that's what I ended up doing. It was a very fun learning experience. I can confidently say that I'm good at MATLAB. So yeah. And then the last class that I took was my pedagogy class. Again, it turned out to be my favorite class. I like learning about pedagogy. We mainly focus on looking at different learning theories and like looking at all that jazz. I really like social constructivism. I think that's the one that I vibe with the most. Wrote a bunch of essays for that class. Not that difficult for me. I love talking, as you can see. Um, so yeah, those are all my 4 classes. Overall, I ended up doing really well. Actually did a lot better than I thought I would. But yeah, very fun semester. Alright, so teaching. I had to teach 1 class a semester. It is in college algebra. It was a very fast class, I would say. I think we moved quite a bit. We did like pretty much 1 section a day. And I think the textbook was written to be 1 section a day. Except some sections took a lot longer, like 2 days. And I think it was a fun class. I learned quite a bit. I learned how to pace myself in terms of like preparing for material. I learned how to, do a lot more with my students when it comes to like helping them. I ran like a lot of surveys for my class, and I think it gets kind of annoying for as a student to be asked to like, hey, fill out this Google form. So I kind of started dwindling that down like a month into the semester because I was like, that's enough. I kind of got the gist of people's opinions and what's happening, but it kind of helped cement the idea that I'm open to suggestion. I'm open to people telling me like what could happen that could be different, that could be better. And I think I learned a lot from that. Definitely have a lot of things to improve upon for the next semester, and I think that's what's the most important is that I am still like learning. Um, but overall, my students seem to enjoy me, and I don't know. I think teaching in general just went a lot better for me this semester than it did last. I think I had more fun with students this semester, and yeah. All right, so I think the last thing that we talk about are the other things that's happening in the program. I don't remember. I should really rewatch the old videos before I record this one. But I passed the analysis qual on my third try. Finally, I like spent a lot of time studying for it. I think I don't remember how much time I actually spent studying for it, but I spent a lot of time studying for it, and it's just like it finally paid off. I finally passed it. I was so happy. I was like, yes. And now it's done. I'm done with qualifying exams. Passed both of them. I passed the differential equations one and the analysis one. Feeling very proud of myself. And yeah, I was actually gonna make a whole different video had I recorded this like mid semester because I was not feeling very well. Um, Pretty much Lincoln's weather was winter the entire semester except for like 1 or maybe 2 days, and even then it rained. So my non-diagnosed seasonal depressy was like, you are not well. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not well. I need to get out of the city. I want to leave. And so that's what my mindset was. My mindset was like, okay, I finished my quals. I feel very proud of what I've accomplished here. I've taken so much more math classes than I should have ever done. Um, like I don't need all this math. Um, and I was like not really seeing the future. Well, I was seeing the future. My future was gonna be like moving back to somewhere warmer. Um, but I was just like, I don't have a project, I don't have an advisor, I don't have anything to work on. I was just like, I'll try again another time. I'll like teach for a bit and then go back like to a different program if I really wanted to. So that was my main sort of thought process. And then once it got kind of warmer, I started like thinking more about like what I want out of UNL. And I was like, huh, I want a project. I want like something with my name on it, you know? I want to do like a research project over summer and have my name on it, maybe present it at like conferences and just like talk about it with people. So then I started thinking, what am I curious about? And mainly like it has been like with math education. So I was like thinking like what am I curious about when it comes to teaching, when it comes to like students, when it comes to learning. And that's when like this question popped up, ended up being one question, then turned into two, then those two separated into like two different ones for each of them. So there's four now. I talked about it with somebody. I talked about it with like the math education person here. And I was like, hey, I have this question. I would like to work on it during summer. What do you think about it? And we talked about it for like an hour. She was just asking me about like, hey, like, what do you want out of this? Like, if you could do anything that you want in the world, even unethical things, to get an answer to your question, what would you do? And I didn't know how to answer it because I'm just like, I don't know. Never got this far. I never like knew like what research involved. I just had this question that I wanted to answer and I didn't know how to answer it. So she walked me through like a study design, like a bit of it, and she was just like, okay, and this is like sort of the like skeleton and like you should flesh it out. Oh, I had to tell her because she seemed very excited about like this project, and it wasn't gonna be a summer project. 4 questions is not a summer project. So she was like, this is not just a summer project. This is gonna leak into a third year. And I was like, okay, I was gonna plan on staying the third year anyway. And then I told her, I was like, I'm actually thinking of leaving after my third year because I missed the academic cycle for jobs. So I was like, I have to wait a year for that. So I told her that I'm planning on leaving. I don't think I am like well enough to stay here for the program. And she basically said, that sucks. Uh, and she tried to tell me like things that like made me want to stay. And it ended up just like working out really well. She said that my questions seem to like formulate that can lead into a dissertation. It is not a dissertation quite yet, but it can lead to a dissertation. And that since I'm already sort of ahead of the curve, it really just depends on how quickly I can do the research bit of it. And it would be a dissertation within 4 years. And I was just like, well, I'm staying here for a third year. Another year after that doesn't sound too bad. I can probably find a way to circumvent my like seasonal depressy. And it was like, you know, I felt okay. I was just like, all right, I'll stick around. I'll see how it goes. No promises quite yet. But yeah, that one meeting I ended up finding out I have a research question, finding out that I have somebody that's willing enough to be my advisor. Nothing's formalized yet. We're kind of waiting until this summer project because I'm working on a different project over summer. Seeing how that goes, seeing how well we work together. And then if that goes well, I think it's gonna go well. We're gonna be advisee advisor, and then we like build a committee. I do another set of exams. Not really. I don't. I take one comprehensive exam, and I do an oral presentation on what my research is, and that's what my comprehensive exams are. And then after that, I will be done with all exams. All I have to do is research and write my dissertation, and that's it. And to me, I was like, well, if I can get that done in 4 years, I might as well stick around. But that's on a condition that research goes well. If it doesn't go well by the end of next year, but yeah, that was like the major thing that I really want to talk about. I've been wanting to talk about it in a video, but like I've been busy. uh, so yeah, that was like, I don't know. It's a very weird time for me because I honestly thought that I was gonna leave the program, but here I am. Um, yeah. All right, so it has been a very fun semester. I had a wonderful time. I don't know if you got that vibe from watching this, but I had a very good semester. It was held during like winter like stuff, and cold stuff, which lasted pretty much the whole semester. Kind of mad about that. But besides that, I had a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to doing the summer stuff that I have planned. I'll talk about that another time. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.